Hey everybody, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm Jimmy Pardo. This week we're talking about 1986.
We've got it on vinyl, CD and cassette.
We've got pop, rock, heavy metal, punk, funk, rap, and new wave. All sales are final, but you never regret all the music you get at Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
I'm loving music again. Hi everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Jimmy's Records and Tapes. Going to talk about 1986. What was going on in the world? Well, let's find out together. Oprah Winfrey, her TV show debuted. Hands Across America went nowhere, right? A lot of talk about Hands Across America. Probably a good thing in theory, but not enough hands to go across America for it to be successful. Smoking was banned on public transportation. If we could do that, why can't we ban pets? Get your pet off my airplane. I'm allergic. Get it off the bus. Get it out of the mall. I know that's not transit, but I walk it around, and I'm in transit. That works all right? Movie theater. You can enjoy the movie Top Gun. You can enjoy Platoon. So a lot happened in 86. The most important, though, probably was the fact that my friend Elliot went to the World Expo in Canada. So a lot of big things happening in 86. What does your money get you? Well, a trip to Canada to the World Expo. My buddy Elliot went. Gas, 89 cents. Look at, now that means it dropped from the last time we talked about this. A house, $89,430. Boy, that's very specific. And a Nintendo unit, probably the original NES, would cost $89. Best-selling song of the year, That's What Friends Are For. Elton John, Gladys Knight, Dionne Warwick, and Stevie Wonder. Dionne Warwick's grandchild goes to my son's school. We see Dionne from time to time. We don't speak. That's what strangers are for. Best-selling album of the year, Whitney Houston. Dionne Warwick's niece, who is terrific. Whitney Houston, of course, that album is phenomenal. The Grammy Award for Best New Artist of 1986 was Bruce Hornsby and the Range. And then the Grammy for Best Album goes to Graceland by Paul Simon. We are going to be talking today about Anita Baker's Rapture. I am a guy from the south side of Chicago, south suburbs, who is very much into the classic rock world, right? Chicago, REO, Journey, pop-wise, Wham. So I didn't really know who Anita Baker was, and I believe this is her second album. The Songstress was her first, but I had an employee. I was the assistant manager of JR's music shop in Lincoln Mall, which is no longer there. It's been leveled. But if you go to deadmalls.com, I don't know why I'm promoting that guy, you can look at pictures of Lincoln Mall before it was demolished, and it's creepy. In fact, that whole website is creepy. And if you ever want to go down that wormhole, if you think you're going to be there for a minute, you're wrong. You will wake up 3 days later with a beard, going, how long have I been looking at the internet at these pictures of closed malls? Anyway, Lincoln Mall is one of those. But there was a time where it was hopping, and working at a record store was the coolest job in the world in the 80s. Guys wanted to be me, girls wanted to have sex with me. It was exciting. Did I do any of that? Probably not. Anyway, we had an employee named Cheryl who was just the sweetest girl maybe one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. She couldn't wait for the new Anita Baker album to come out. And again, I had never heard of this woman. The second she put this album on, my jaw hit the floor. I had never heard a voice like it. She just has the most pure voice. I'm not an expert, but that I had ever heard. You know the song Sweet Love, you know the song Caught Up in the Rapture, but the other ones that were less successful, but still very, very successful, No One in the World and Same Old Love, 365 Days in a Year. Just great, just absolutely great. I think it's a flawless album, and I don't really have a story to relate to this as much as I just wanted to point out that this is another album that I might be in my top 10 most played albums of all time. I think it is just a terrific album that if you've not heard anything but those two singles, you should do a Anita Baker deep dive and listen to it. A little button at the end of this story is there's a comedian named Dan who was once a tennis coach, and Anita Baker was one of his students. Hey guys, it's now time for this week's quick hit. Going to talk about Daryl Hall's Dreamtime. Comes off of his Three Hearts and the Happy Ending Machine album. The song went to number 5 on Billboard. It is produced by Dave Stewart of Eurythmics, T-Bone Walk, and Daryl Hall himself. I had the opportunity to meet Daryl Hall not that long ago, and I asked him what he thought of the phrase blue-eyed soul, and his words, not mine, I effing hate it. I'm just a singer, man. I'm just a singer. Then he pushed up his sunglasses. I remember this song for this specific reason. I had just moved from Chicago. I drove cross-country in my Fiero, a two-seater, where I came across country with my buddy Dave, drove out here with me. So he took up the other seat, and then there's really not a lot of room in a two-seat little Fiero. So I had my bicycle on a rack, and I had my stereo and maybe 4 outfits. And that's what I drove across with, but it was very important I have my stereo. I was going to go to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I did go. I went for a year, but I remember when I first moved here, I didn't know anybody, and so I would go to the mall every day to kill time. Like I would wander around the mall. They probably thought I was like a homeless guy, but I had a house. I rented an apartment, but I would go until I got a job at Warehouse Records. I had nothing to do, so I would go to the mall every day, and I would have lunch with the limited money I had because I didn't have any money. This is before the internet, you guys, where money had to be transferred from one bank to another bank, and that took 10 days. So I had a limited budget each day, and I would end each day of my first month in Pasadena, California, having a Hostess Cupcake. And I would plan for it, and I would literally sit down to do it and then read books. And because I didn't have enough money to buy a TV or anything yet. But one day I'm in my car, and I could picture it exactly. I was under a viaduct waiting for the light to change, and KROQ of all places, which has become a lot more alt, played this song, Dreamtime by Daryl Hall. And I remember it very vividly that it came on, and for some reason, because you're living in Dreamtime, it just hit me in this. I am living in Dreamtime. I'm about to go to this acting school. I don't know anybody here. I'm on my own, and it just seems so surreal to me. And then I went for 1 year to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, where people like Adam Scott went, and other Jason Robards, other very successful people went. I went for the 1 year, and my biggest memory, and I made great friends from there. My biggest memory was I was doing a scene once, and I may have been a little big, a little broad, and the teacher stopped me and said, "Stop! You're performing! Get out of this room and come back when you can act." I didn't go back for the second year. That is this week's Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I thank you so much for stopping by the store. If you liked it, click like on your way out. Subscribe, tell your buddies about it. Music fans, vinyl collectors, that sort of thing. Also, I'm on Twitter at Jimmy Pardo if you like to follow me there. Also, I host the award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny, that can be found at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. Until next time, the record's back in the sleeve.